got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my heart.
Hey, welcome to Piece of Chaos.
That you're really a part
So last week, I had two guests lined up, and they fell through.
under my skin.
Rescheduled. Life is busy, my friends, and also I'm trying to make sure my time is spent effectively, and I've realized that sometimes that includes not doing some things. And when I don't have the proper guests lined up, or who am I kidding? I fell asleep early a lot last week. I'm trying to value sleep way more. And normally, I mean, throughout the whole creation of this podcast, a lot of it was a late night thing, whether it was a late night with the guests during the pandemic or on my own. And last weekend, I slept a lot, and it felt good. I just went to bed early. I read this book called Why We Sleep by Dr. Matthew Walker, and it just blew my mind away in terms of sleep and the amount of sleep you need and what sleep does for you. I would highly encourage checking it out. But anyway, and I think I was tired because life's just insane right now. Just when we thought one major historical teachable moment was coming to an end, or at least a drastic change, we got a new war to keep our eyes on, and it is frightening. The devastation to the Ukraine, the gall of a single dictator, the fact that we don't seem to be able to separate truth and reality as a society. Everything is questioned. Everything is up for debate. And I think, I don't know, man. I'm old enough to remember the 70s. I was young, but I remember the gas crisis. I remember the Cold War in the 80s and Reagan and Mr. Khrushchev, tear down that wall, all that stuff. Or Gorbachev, the guy with the birthmark on his head that looked like a country. So it feels like we're doing the same thing again, and we've chosen to do it, hoping that most people don't remember that they did it once before, which is fair. I mean, I was a little kid in the 70s, so if you're following a long script and a playbook of the military-industrial complex, and they say, you know what, if we wait about 60 years in between these things, nobody will remember, and we can just pull it off again. And I think the great equalizer in that conversation is actually the internet and live streaming, which is why it seems like Russia has turned it off for their folks. It's just not available. And that is a sad reality that we may have created, or they may have created for themselves, sort of a new isolation state, and a population that is not given information, not given any kind of understanding of what's actually going on, and that's terrible for those people. It's terrible for the whole world, and to live in fear of COVID was terrible, and now to live in fear of a Cold War and nuclear weapons is terrible. And So yeah, I've been tired. I'm doing the best I can, man. I hope you are as well. I have some fun stuff coming up. I did rebook those guests, but they're going to be in April, and they're going to be good ones. I have some really cool stuff coming up. Blake Wexler is coming back on the podcast, who, if you're a listener, he's been on a couple times. He's hysterical. He's now in Philadelphia, so he's been there about a year and a half now, maybe. I don't know, maybe not that long, but Blake's one of my good buddies. Kim Krall is coming back on the podcast. Lots of good stuff. So I've been thinking about this concept that I read about called slowing down to speed up. And it has a lot to do with, being present, taking your time, being in the moment, all of those kind of esoteric ideas. But it really does make a lot of sense once you apply it. So if you have a list of things that you need to do, or things that you want to get done, and you start getting freaked out because your to-do list is so long and you never think you're going to get it done, well, first of all, give yourself a pass. And this too came from a book called 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Berkman, which is just an awesome book as well. But like, the idea is we make these lists as if they're going to end, as if there won't be a new list right on the back of it. And that's just a ridiculous thing. There's always going to be stuff to do. You're never going to finish everything. You're never going to get to do everything. So focus on the things that are important and that you do have to do. Do them well, pay attention to them. And soon you'll start to realize that you're getting them done. There's more to it than that. You should read the book. That's a really bad summary of it. But I mean, as it applies to life and trying to get through things, that's how I'm kind of looking at it. So that's been pretty interesting shift, is kind of giving myself the freedom to know that I'm not going to get everything done, to know that I need to prioritize and do them well at the time, and finish them before I move on to the next. And it's very satisfying. But it does slow you down. But eventually you speed up, because you realize that if you actually focus on the thing you've been putting off for a while, maybe a task like, let's say, doing taxes, which is a pain in the ass, and, gathering paperwork and all that kind of stuff. But once you sit down and do it, it doesn't take that long. And then you're done, and you can move on to more things. And the other thing is kind of shutting down when I need to shut down, and, like I said before, go to sleep, focus on a task at hand, realize, okay, I have 45 minutes before I have to go somewhere, or an hour before I need to take the kids somewhere. And what can I do in that hour? What's the best thing for me to do in that hour? And sometimes that means just sit down and relax and give yourself the freedom to relax, turn off. And that's something that's also difficult to do sometimes. So we're in a weird spot, everybody, and I think all we can do is, zoom in, get through the day, make sure our kids are good, make sure our friends are good, make sure our families are good. Do the best we can every day. I mean, it's terrible that there's a war in Ukraine. I don't know what I can do about it. And that is a tough thing to swallow. That there's not much that any of us can do about it except be educated, be empathetic, help if you're able in whatever way is best, and hug your family and friends. I don't think watching the news is a good idea. I don't know. And then, financially, gas prices and inflation and all that stuff, that's where I come back to the 70s thing. It's like, why do they keep pulling this? And why, when inflation is crazy and gas is over $6 a gallon here, why do the corporations still make a ton of money? Why is that? It doesn't make sense on paper, right? So, like, if your supply chain is, I know it's supply and demand and market forces and all that stuff, but something ain't right. Something ain't right. But every time there's inflation, corporations make out like crazy. Now, is their money fake too? Is their money inflated so they're really not making that profit? And if that's the case, like, what is this? This is all just a stupid game we're playing. Now, I understand that gas prices are controlled centrally. It's not like a U.S. thing, but, like, why is gas more expensive in California than it is in the middle of the country? Is it because it's harder to ship it here? I don't know. But they just changed the price. That's why the signs are digital at gas stations, I guess, so they can just do whatever they want. And I don't know if electric cars is the answer because, you know, we need lithium for batteries, and that's a precious metal. And I don't know. I just feel like we can do better. We should do better as a society now that we're all connected. Hell, maybe this whole uniting as a world against what's happening in the Ukraine and using the internet for good and realizing that we shouldn't be energy dependent on a authoritarian state. Maybe those are all good things. Wouldn't that be amazing? It sucks that it took this to unite the world. I thought COVID would do that. I was wrong. It divided everything. It divided even internal countries. But man, you know, it's crazy. A friend has a parent that is Russian and lives in Russia, and they were getting nothing but propaganda, and they were believing that the Ukraine was about to attack them. All this crazy propaganda with no other side. It was like the only news channel was Fox News, basically, in Russia. And his mom believed it and still believes it. And it's sad. You know, we've lost a lot of people to this cult of authoritarianism. And to me, that just means our education system, the way we teach history, the way we teach critical thought, the way we teach people to recognize a charlatan, a narcissist, is broken. Our radar is broken as a species, and we got to work on that. The powerful folks know that, take advantage of it, and it's just very frustrating to watch. And feels a little powerless, but you know what? We have each other. I believe our numbers are larger. I believe that the fringe that we see amplified on the news and the media is the fringe, is not the majority. And I think that we as humans that want to exist in the world as humans, one world, understanding of the world, do outnumber the bad. But it's a lot to get through. Especially when they do crazy stuff like attack a country that was just sitting there. So I have incredible amount of empathy for those people. I hope it ends soon and that we come out the other side better. That's all we can do, right? So thanks for listening to Piece of Chaos. I really appreciate you. I'm going to do my best to not miss a week here and there, but if I do, it's probably because I'm sleeping. So guests coming up soon. Check out those books I said, Oliver Burkeman, 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mere Mortals, and Why We Sleep by Dr. Matthew Walker, if you want to change some of those things about the way you sleep or you just want to check it out and see. Some people don't have an issue with sleep. I used to not sleep much, and now I'm sleeping more. Feel better, healing my body in the night. So, anyway, I hope you have an amazing week. I think I'm going on a road trip this weekend with my son to San Francisco, and I'm hoping to get a podcast out of that, either with him or with my friend that I'm going to see, and so that'll be kind of fun. It won't sound as glorious as this because it's road equipment, but I think you'll like it. So anyway, thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening to Piece of Chaos. I truly appreciate you. Have an amazing week.
I said to myself, this fair ain't never gonna go too well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know too well that I've got you under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything come what might for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice that rings in the nights, repeats and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, little fool, you ain't never gonna win. Use your mentality, wake up to reality. But each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop just before I begin. Yes, I've got you under my skin. Hey there, you with the stars in your eyes. Love never made